Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast, episode number 203. I am your host, 65 Locs, covering model car culture from around the world. I'm on the commute, driving right now. Decided, hey, why not? This is a great opportunity to do another solo episode and touch base with you guys, see how you guys are doing, and at the same time, kind of keep you updated with current events, NNO West. We got Model Fest coming up at the end of this month of February, and as well as just restocks and new items in the store. So I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are staying busy, whether if you're model building or not, but still, like, it's on your mind at all times, I'm pretty sure. For myself right now, I'm driving, I'm going to work. This month of February is a very busy month in my day job because for a lot of you that know, it's Valentine's coming up, and my family, we all work in the flower industry. We have a flower shop that we've had since, I want to say, I think it's since like 94 or 95, somewhere on there. And it's just, it's been all this time to now. It's so crazy how so many years have passed, and we're still doing the same thing, the business and all that, and it's been great. It's been fun. So these we're pretty much like a week away now, as you're listening to this, to the holiday, and as it gets closer, we have to get ready with our products and items and everything, because there is a lot of people who place those orders ahead of time, so we got to be ready for that. And at the same time, we have to be ready for those last minute orders and last minute things that come into play as well. So the focus is obviously is work, fulfilling all this, but at the same time, I have my responsibilities that I also have to handle off of my day job, which is the online store. So I'll be fine like these days, because I'm still going to be commuting back and forth, from home to work and whatnot. So I'll still be able to like fulfill orders, get things out on time, and make sure everything goes out cool. I would say maybe like that day before, like the 13th and the actual day, the 14th. Those are going to be like days where I won't be able to ship anything out. But the 15th I'll have that day off. So whatever comes in, I'll be able to ship that out that day, but I still remember back in the day just kind of dreading these days. I don't know if it was because I was younger and maybe I didn't have the experience that I have now. So whenever these big holidays would come in, I would kind of dread. I'm like, oh man, it's coming up. I felt like a lot of work, like just being overwhelmed. And I would say like within the last like 5 years, it's changed where I welcome it, and I feel like we've also kind of dialed in our system of how to take on a big amount of orders and be able to like take care of them all and have like good quality control over everything. And at the same time too, speaking with customers or just people and like seeing all that and fulfilling the orders and all that, it's also been, I found it in a way to make it fun, where it's not like, oh man, because when you talk to customers, you're talking with, everyone's different that you talk to. Everyone has a different background, different personality, so it's just like adapting to that. Was a whole like learning thing, and now it's like pretty cool. Like I don't even think about it. It's just like, I don't know. I just, whoever I come across, we just chop it up. So that's the big thing right now coming up. And they'll be done, because it's going to go by fast. All these, we're already in February, all these months are like just flying by. So one thing I'm very excited about too, that I wanted to bring up, is at the end of this month is Model Fest. So Model Fest is a model car show, but not only model cars, they also do like military, they also do aircraft. I have seen Gundam figures and they do have like a section or a table where you could pretty much put different types of stuff. I've even seen Hot Wheels there. I know with Juan, we had conversed about that in the previous podcast. So there is, I don't know if it's miscellaneous, but they do have a section for that. So, and that's a great opportunity for people who, aside from building a certain genre of builds, might be building something that's a bit different, and they might want to bring that out. This is an opportunity to showcase that. And this is a show that's been hosted for many years, dating back to the 90s. I have mentioned in a previous podcast, when I was reading Lowrider Bicycle Magazine, issue number 1, there was a section in there that had model car coverage of a show, and it happened to be the Ventura Hobby Show, which I was quite shocked to see that. I was like, whoa, that's so crazy. Like, I never knew this, because when issue number 1 came out, I wasn't collecting the issue. I didn't even know that those magazines were out. I didn't catch on to those magazines till later. And just, knowing about the store being in the area where I grew up, and knowing that they were hosting a show, and it was on a magazine, I was like just blown away as an adult, like reading that. And it just goes to show the history, how long it's been around. This show has been hosted, and it's probably gone longer, probably even before that. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody out there that's listening knows. But I was like, blown away by that. And now we're, they're doing 2023. How long? Look how long it's been, and they're still continuing doing it. The first times I attended Model Fest, it was being curated in Camarillo, California, and that was like in an airplane museum hangar vibe. It was pretty much in the Camarillo airport, but it was in this one section that they had there. And I remember attending it just to, buy items and check stuff out. Eventually, I had to sell stuff too, because I wanted to get rid of some stuff from my personal collection. And this was before I even had the online store. But I was just like, I have a bunch of kits I want to get rid of that I know I'm not going to build. So, from there, the pandemic hit, and, they stopped doing those events there. So once post-pandemic, the next place was to be hosted at a hall in Ventura, at the Ventura Fairgrounds, which happened last year. I was now officially vending there as Scale Riders, as a store. And now this is the next following year where I will be there again vending as well. And I'm looking forward to it just because, we just got done with the NNL West. That was a fun event. And now, the next month we got this one coming up at the end of the month. So it's pretty cool, like taking a break and then, okay, here we go again, And at the same time, it's not so far. It's pretty close to home. So I'm very excited about that. And, once this Valentine's holiday passes, I got to start deciding on what items to bring, because every show that I'll be vending at, I will be, just taking different items. I won't be bringing the same stuff out, because I know that there's different crowds, people into different things, and based on just the experience from previous years, I've noticed that, and I've also been requested things like that. So I'm taking a lot of that in consideration when I'm going into these shows as to what to bring, what makes sense, So we got this one coming up, Model Fest. It's on a Sunday, which is pretty cool. And I mean, if you guys are in the area or planning to go, it's at the end of this month on the 28th on a Sunday. If you go to I think it's venturahobbies.com or .org. That's where you'll see the information from Model Fest. But I am planning on also creating my own flyer, a digital flyer to post up online. This way, get the word out as well. For those that might have that Sunday off, maybe they don't got no plans or anything, but just to bring some awareness to this event that's coming up. And if you are going to be attending, you are planning on going, and you want me to bring something, or maybe you want to, like, I don't know, order something ahead of time, just let me know, and I could sort that out so this way I could bring it through for you that day of the show. That won't be a problem. So that'll be pretty neat. But yeah, right now it's like 7 in the morning doing this drive, taking little sips of my coffee here and there, and it's pretty smooth. I mean, this drive is it could be about an hour and a half or an hour, depending on the traffic, but I really don't mind it, to be honest. I mean, I've driven through this freeway, probably since the time I got my license, since I was like 17, and back and forth. So it's nothing like that I dread or nothing crazy. It's just pretty smooth, and especially right now, being able to record this, it's like perfect. And it's just nice right now. The sun's coming up, passing the 405 right now. That thing looks deep right there. Just so much traffic going that way, going towards like LAX. That's insane. So yeah, I want to recap on the end of January, which we had the NNL West. I made the trip out there. I made it official to book my table ahead of time, and man, it was fun. So I want to shout out my homie Randall, who rolled out with me. He's from the hometown where I grew up, and man, that day was quite interesting, leading up to the Friday when we were going to dispatch and be on our way out, just because I had a list of things that I needed to be done throughout the week. Like day by day, I had to do these tasks leading up to the Friday, and I was just so happy that everything was completed leading up to the day. And then the day of, I was like, all right, the Friday, we got to go. Got the car all loaded up, model kits, accessories, tools, all that stuff. Front seat, back seat, trunk. And at the same time, even my daughter was with me in the car. I had her little car seat set up in the back. She was like going along for the ride, and right next to her was like a big box full of model kits. And, she has no clue what was in there, but I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny. And I took a photo of her, and she's just like sitting there, like all small next to this box. And we headed out. So I had to drop her off at my parents' house. There was no one that was going to be able to pick her up or anything. And plus, it's on my way. So I was like, all right, here's the plan. Got to take her, drop her off, drop off the baby seat. Then I have to move all that stuff from the front seat to that space in the back. So this way, my homie could sit in the front now. And we could be on our way. So we did that, dropped off the baby. All right, picked up my friend. And now the not the dilemma, but kind of the question was like, what route do we take? Do we take the 101 or do we take the 5? And the reason that was quite of a thought was because weeks before we had all this rain come down, and as many of you that don't live in California were probably watching the news, the news made it seem like California was falling apart, like the whole state was gone, like a movie. Like we had all this water coming in, and just that was it. I had friends of mine hitting me up to text or DMs, and thank you guys for reaching out, because they weren't sure how it was in my area or what. But yeah, I saw the news, I was like, dang, if they're showing it here, they make it seem crazy. I could only imagine what they're showing everywhere else, just to get those ratings and those hits. It's like clickbait pretty much. And out here, it wasn't that affected that bad. There was a lot of water, but it wasn't that bad in the city area. It was more Northern California. Like once you would get up to like San Francisco and going further up, or Santa Cruz area, Big Sur, all those areas got hit at the top bad. But that wasn't in the commute, and that was like hours away from where the NNL was going to be taking place. But if you took the 101, there was some sections where, some water did get into the freeway, but they cleaned that up immediately because there's a lot of people commuting, going to work back and forth. And that is kind of one of the only routes, unless you're going to go through the mountains, but all that stuff was all closed off. So once that Friday, day before NNL came, all that stuff was clean, but still I was like, I don't want to take the risk, and the homie Wes was already in California. He flew in from St. Louis, and he was like, we were texting in the morning, and he was, like, hey, are you on your way, or what's up? And he was rolling up with Al Camacho, and they were telling me that they were taking the 5 going up. And they were already like an hour ahead of us in time. So, conversing with him, he convinced me to take the 5. I was like, all right, I'm going to take the 5. He finalized it, And we took the 5, and it was a very smooth ride. No issues. A lot of cars. Just picture like the movie Mad Max, where it's like a long road. It's just, there's nothing on the sides really. Some areas where you see a lot of livestock, some cows and stuff like that. But it's just a long road, and you're just going straight, 2 lanes, and people are just like, passing each other, and you're passing a lot of these semis. And I don't know, I was just thinking, man, this reminds me of like the movie Mad Max, where everyone's just like, if everyone's trying to run each other off the road or whatever. But I mean, nobody was doing that, but it was just like you could have like this long fight scene cruising up on that road. And it was like about 5.5 hours of a drive. But when you're going with friends and you're conversing and listening to music and taking like pit stops, it doesn't even feel that long or that bad, and we finally got out there. By the time we checked into the hotel and we got everything in, we had probably about an hour, like a window of just to chill and relax before we attended Alex's Slice of the West that he was hosting at the Round Table Pizza. And we went over there. We got there right when it started, when the time, said it was going to start. Brought our model kits. I captured some footage arriving, being in there, hanging out with the guys. And that video's up on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. I'm going to have to link it on the description of this podcast episode, so this way you guys can view it there. And it was cool, man. Like, seeing everybody hanging out, just like chilling and just talking, and just seeing all these like new builds that were being brought out. Wes he busted out his new Nissan Z, and he also ended up taking the Slice of the West award that Alex does, which is really neat. And it was just nice to like see all these cars up close, and just, I know for myself it was more relaxing because I knew that I was going to really be able to hang out and not have to like bring any stuff to like vend or anything like that. This was more of a just chilling out atmosphere, and it took me back because I was able to like document, with video clips and photographs, and just kind of capture everything that was there, and it took me back because, back then, before I was vending, that's all I was doing was recording video and taking photographs of models and compiling videos, and always having like the content on the YouTube channel. That was always kind of the thing in the beginning. And I mean, now when I'm at the model shows, I have a responsibility of be vending, and there's really no time for me sometimes to step away and go, take my time and look through everything and stuff. So, but I think as time goes, little by little, that's gonna change, where I'll be able to like step away to be able to like see all the items there. It's just it gets tough a lot of the times because people have questions, or you have to scan stuff with your phone, and yeah, but it was nice. We had some pizza there, some drinks, we just chilled, we chatted. And one of the things we were tripping out on is that Alex brought up, he said, man, it's been like 3 years since the last time he did the first one there. It was like, dang, that's a long time, man. Like it's crazy how like that time flies by. And I could still remember that time because like everybody who was there, and I still remember in person, that's where I met a lot of people, man. A lot of people that I would talk to online that weren't from there, that came out, that were there. Even like Noco Scale Auto, rest in peace, he was there. Like we've talked through Instagram many times. He's been on the podcast a couple of times, and to finally he made that trip, he came out, so that was really nice. And just a lot of other people that came from different areas, and you could tell it was just like a cool thing that Alex did that brought a lot of people together, and it just made that trip, that weekend of the show even much more special. And I'm happy he did it again. There wasn't that big of a turnout compared to the first one because you got to consider there's a lot, like it's like still post-pandemic with a lot of stuff, and at the same time though, it's not really about having the whole thing packed either though, because if you have something super packed, it's really hard to like get to everybody, and it's really hard to like see everything, so you just have to enjoy with what's there. As long as the event's going on, the thing, that's what's up, but it was awesome. It was awesome to like just see everything, check it out. And right after, we stayed till like pretty much it like was gonna close, like the spot was gonna close, so we're there for like a few hours. Once after that, we went back to our hotel. I had to just kind of look at everything, kind of reorganize some stuff that I was bringing with me, and just call it a night. I mean, that morning, the next day was like, we had to get up early in the morning. It was a 10-minute drive from the venue to the hotel, but I just wanted to get up early to eat some breakfast, load up everything back in the car, and be on our way. And it was cold. It was like very cold in those mornings. And I mean, pulling up to the venue, the Santa Clara Convention Center, I was like, man, where am I gonna bring this stuff in through? But then I remember a long time ago seeing them opening a back door, like a gate, and I went through the back. Then I remembered, oh shoot, I could definitely come in through here. So yeah, we ended up finding the gate, unloaded everything there, which just made it so much easier. Brought the stuff in, got my table, and then I had to go park the car in the structure, came back, and now we had an hour to set up. So we had plenty of time to like lay everything out, set it up there. Al and Wes were already there chilling. They got in there early, and everybody was just busy, like, behind the scenes, making sure things were cool. And then Sam from Splash flew in. He showed up. He was there. Finally got to meet him in person. It was awesome. Like we had never met in person. We've had him on the podcast. We talked many times, and I carry his product and stuff. But this was like cool to finally have that opportunity to meet him in person. Once we were finally set up, or getting there, we had some people coming over, picking up some stuff already to start things off. So I was like, all right, cool, it's gonna be 9 now. And then the doors open, and just people just started coming in, and for anybody that like sells out there, your busiest peak time is always going to be like that initial early morning when things open up, leading up to like the noontime. That's when like those are like peak times when people show up and are there. Once it's like, after that, things kind of slow a little, just because some people are already like, all right, I'm leaving, or fuck, I already spent all my money. It could be various things. But it was quite busy, like, even after that over here. I was like, whoa, like, dang, and which was cool. Like, people just kept coming back, picking up stuff, or asking questions, or just hanging out and like chatting and stuff like that. So that was pretty neat, having that, that vibe, that atmosphere there. And Sam was helping me, Randall was helping me, so we were just like hanging out. And whenever it was like downtime, we would like chop it up and stuff. But then more people would show up, so then we had to like get back into like working and stuff. So it was like a little bit of everything going back and forth. And then finally, we're getting down to like 30 minutes before ending time. By then, a lot of people had already left. The only ones standing are like the vendors and modelers who have their cars out. And now they're starting to wrap up. And, it's just kind of like, yeah, it's that time. Let's just start putting stuff away. So, we start packing up. And then that was it. Like, it was kind of like, dang. Like, it went by really, really fast. There was a moment where I was able to step away and go take some photographs, and I got that done. I wish I would have been able to photograph more, but I was very limited on my time of how long I could step away from the table to go and do a photograph. And once all that was done, it was like, all right, cool, let's just wrap things up. So after it, man, I was like pretty exhausted from like standing up. I was just like standing up a lot. And once and I don't know, it's also probably the adrenaline too, of just being excited and being there and helping people. And once I was done, I was just like, all right, I have to chill. I have to just chill. I'm glad I booked another night to stay, because I didn't want to drive home that night after the show, because it was going to be another 5 to 6 hour drive home. And I knew that if the show ended around, let's say 4, take that drive, I wouldn't be getting home till midnight. And I don't know how I'd be feeling the next, like later. And it's too high of a risk. I'm driving, feeling tired, carrying a bunch of merchandise, going through, a road where there's really nothing out there. And if I needed any help, road assistance, it would take a long time for anybody to reach me. So I just didn't want to risk it. And at the same time, I didn't even feel like driving at night. I don't know what it is, but I was just like, nah, I'm not in the mood. So booked another night, got some food, chilled back at the hotel, kind of did a second look at inventory as to what was left, repackaged everything, because when you're wrapping up, you're just trying to get out of wherever, right? So you just kind of put stuff in different places. Now I had everything organized, counted for, and placed in the proper containers. All right, cool, we're ready for the next day. And just as long as we eat breakfast, wake up, no rush, wake up, breakfast, and then head home, and we're good. And we took that 101 drive back. 101 was cleaned up, it was smooth, it was nice, and we got home to where we needed to be around. I was already back at my house by like 1 p.m. like the next day. And it was cool. It was just I was just a trip, trying to like process everything, that I was like, wait a minute, I was doing all this stuff, I was over there, now I'm back at home, like, what the hell? So I still had time to like relax that Sunday. And now I was like just flipping through my phone, looking at photos I took in videos and all that. And I was like, yeah, I gotta compile this now into a video. I gotta put it all together now. That was cool. You know, it was a very fun experience. A lot of people that I met there, you know, there's some people we connected on Instagram that I wasn't following yet, and you know, there was some customers that were telling me like they're happy that I actually came out, like thanks for coming out. And just because he gave that opportunity for them to pick up and get some items that they don't really get to see in person, you know, whether they don't have a store or, you know, I don't know, but it was just kind of cool. I don't know the situation in detail, but you know what I mean. And you know, I was telling myself I'm gonna come back next year. I'm definitely gonna come back to the NNL West next year. You know, once I solicit the flyer, I'm pretty much gonna book my tables. This time I'm gonna do 2 tables for next year because I haven't only done one because I wanted to see what was up, right? How I was gonna go with 1 table. But now I figured next year 2 tables, be able to bring a little bit more product, but then it's like 1 table I could dedicate it all to like model kits and like wheels and stuff like that, and then the other table I could dedicate it to like half tools, half detail parts, right? And just kind of go from there. And at the same time, you know, Model Fest only did 1 table. I've done, you know, from my experience, I was like, I don't gotta do 2. One's cool. So I'm gonna do the 1 and just kind of go from there. And I'm super excited though. I'm excited for that one to do it. And I hope you guys can make it out if you're in the area. You know, come through, check it out. I mean, it's a small show. It's not nothing big compared to like an NNL West, but for the month of February, that's a pretty dope show. You know, and this is hosted by Ventura Hobbies. It's a model shop. It's based in Ventura, California. You could also check out their website, venturahobbies.com. Check out their stuff. I mean, they sell model kits. They also have paint, hobby tools. They have all this cool stuff in there. Gundam kits too. Brick and mortar store. It's based out of Ventura County. If you're in the area of Ventura County, check them out. You know, as well. Or if you live in the Valley or LA and you want to visit a shop, you know, get out of the area, you know, add that to your list to go check out in person and pick up some stuff. And then also the announcement for May, as we know it, we have Sunday, May 7th is another model show which is the SoCal Open. That happens to land on the same weekend as the GSL. You know, I know from hearing from different people that the GSL, this is their last event that they're having. And it's like a 4-day event that happens, I believe, from the Thursday going on to the Sunday. So this is like a huge, huge thing. I wish I would be able to attend something like this in Bend. You know, it probably would be possible, but then again, it just doesn't line up with myself, with what in my situation. You know, I don't want to be away like that long from my daughter and you know, from family, and at the same time, you know, there's no way I'm gonna take a flight with all my merch, you know, all there. Obviously the thing would be to drive, but there's just planning. And for myself right now, last minute, I don't want to do no last minute thing. Even though we're months away, I don't want to do that. Unfortunately, it's the last time they're going to do it, and you know, I won't be able to go. So I'm not going to be able to experience that to be able to talk about it. You know, I hope from people that I interview in the future that do attend can tell me about it, because I'd be very excited to hear stories about that. And also, I hope people capture footage, photographs, and document, because this is the last one. I mean, what's going to be left if this is the last one and no one takes photos and photographs, not just of the models, but take photographs of like where it was, the entrance, the hallways. Like, I want to look at it. I want to feel like I'm there. That's what I want to see when I see like a lot of B-roll footage. I want to see people walking. I want to see, like people real quick. I don't know. I would want to document a lot of that stuff, to just for like tell me the story all together in a video clip. That would be pretty awesome. And that's coming up. So unfortunately, I won't be able to like see that or do that. What's in my backyard is the SoCal Open, and it's happening that same weekend. This one's gonna be dedicated by Dedicated Magazine and hosted by Dedicated Magazine. So we got Willie, we got David, we got Snacks. I'm not sure if Vision 124 is going to be able to come out, but Vision 124, David Anthony Garcia, this is the whole team that is Dedicated Magazine that are going to be hosting this event. And previously, this was hosted by Art Lasky, Pro Shop, and it's like, next year I'm pretty sure he's going to re-hosting it back. But it's cool that the event is still happening, right? It's going down, and that's in my backyard, and that's, the one that I definitely want to be there vending. I definitely want to be there in appearance. There's going to be a lot of people that I know they're going to be flying out to this event from out of town, and then also the same, everyone who lives in Southern California that can attend. And it's on a Sunday, a week away before Mother's Day as well. So if you could already think about that, like, I'm going to be already busy with my, with work, but I will be able to be there for that day. So once that day's done, Monday, boom, it's back to work, kind of like Valentine's vibe. I'll be busy with the day job. So we got that. And after that, I'm not sure the date yet or the venue, but I have been in contact with the people over at OrangeCon. That's going to be another event that I do plan on doing. They have me on their vendors list already, and I've been in communications with them. They're going to keep me the heads up once we're set, so this way I can book my table for that event. And then also in November, there's another event at the NHRA Museum, which I'll also be planning on doing as well. So, and I think that might be it for the year. I mean, I'm only going to try to do, only a certain amount of events. I'm not going to be able to do every event. There's only so many I can do in the year. But yeah, I want to definitely be out there for that. And I hope you guys can come out and check that stuff out. So before I wrap this episode up, I want to just get into the update with the store. Oh, sorry, I had to just like drink a little bit of coffee before this thing gets cold, and I kind of just been sitting on it. But yeah, right now I'm going down this like big hill, and I wish you guys could see this view. It looks really nice. But man, every time I get to the bottom of this hill, my ears always pop. That's the only annoying thing though, because we just start getting lower and lower to the lower level right here of the playing field, and entering Ventura County. So last week we received probably our biggest Aoshima model kit drop of model kits, and I'm talking about like 13 boxes, big boxes, just full of kits, which I was like, dang. Like, I stacked everything up and the thing was like taller than me. This is one of the biggest purchases I had ever done, buying model kits. A lot of this stuff was stuff that was on pre-order from last year, right? I had already addressed the pre-order situation on a previous podcast. And a lot of that stuff that I talked about is what arrived. So I was so happy that when it arrived and everything was checked in, I was able to fulfill all those pre-orders and get them out to people. Some people had already posted they got them. Others, they're going to be getting it soon just because they live a little bit farther on the other side of the U.S. from where I'm at. But it just felt good to like package everything and get them out. And for those that are ordering the model kits, it was perfect timing because they were able to get the latest Scale Riders like print that a run of 50 that I've been putting on model kit orders. So this was like great. Good timing with all that. And also the new Scale Riders, the latest Scale Riders limited like Japanese license plate sticker too. So I was putting those in there. So the Liberty Walk Aventador was one of the new kits that came in. There's also a Celsior kit that came in. It's a really nice one, like VIP style. It looks like a kit that they had done many years ago, and they just brought it back with a different box art, the Fabulous version, and just a whole bunch of other like just kits. A lot of kits that have like come with the wide body fenders, which was awesome. And I don't know, just like a lot of restocks on stuff, and a huge amount of initial D kits for all the fans out there. Initial D fans, a lot of those kits appeared as well. And everything's been processed. Those are ready to ship. So what helped a lot to be able to obtain a lot of these kits was the NNL West. And that's the thing that kind of blows my mind, because it's like we went to NNL West, we made some sales, and from those sales, that money got reinvested back into buying more product, which I was able to buy a lot of these kits. So, there was it's a trip, because there was like this clip. I remember hearing audio, and it was talking about it was Ice Cube basically talking, and a lot of people use this audio clip. I've been seeing it more and more and more. Basically, he's telling you, like, for people that want to start a business or want to do stuff, is like, are you willing to really grind and do all this and not pay yourself for the first 5 years, right? And that has been resonating with me, because when I hear him say that, I know right away what he's talking about, and basically what it is like, every sale that you make, every whatever penny profit, whatever, every dollar that you make, you're not paying yourself, meaning you're not putting it in your pocket. You're putting it back into the business. And right now I'm able to do that, and I'm doing that just because I have my day job, and the money I make from my day job, that's what's taking care of my personal expenses, personal this, personal that, bills, and family stuff, all that stuff, right? The business stuff is separate. I have that stuff structured separately. So whatever comes in is going to go back in. And at the same time, I'm not like being like, oh, I'm going to pay myself. Because then if I get into that habit when I'm starting off, I know that it's going to delay me being able to buy product. It's going to delay a lot of stuff where I'm not going to grow, And I've seen people do that from the past, where they start a business, they start making money from the business, and they get excited, and they pocket a lot of that. They pay themselves too much money, where they're spending that money now on personal stuff that they're stuck. They're at a point where they're like, oh crap, like I can't even buy inventory because I spent all that money on this, on that. I shouldn't have bought this and that. And I'm kind of like, dude, I do not want to, right now I don't want to do that, you know. I just completed the second year. I'm coming into my third year. And it's been nothing but that. But reinvesting back into my company. I haven't been, you know, like being like, oh, cool, you know, I just got done with NNL West. I should pay myself out. And like, you know, nah, I haven't been doing any of that because I want to be able to like buy more product, buy more inventory, because I want my, you know, I visualize and I see my store being at this level, at this place where it has all this stuff in it, right? And the thing with distributors is that when they get product in, there's only a certain window of opportunity where you could come in and actually buy that stuff and obtain it. And if you miss it, that stuff is some other stores, somebody else is gonna buy it all out, and you're not gonna be able to buy it. And when everyone's hitting you up like, hey, you got the latest kit, you have this, you have that, it's gonna suck that you don't have that, right? All right, guys, I'm back. I had to get some gas real quick. So going back to what I was saying is like, you get these opportunities. Your distributor one day just like updates, you know, the site saying in stock, and you got all this stuff, right? I mean, you're looking at all this stuff and you're going, man, like, dude, like, this stuff's great. I know that these are items that my customers are looking for. These are items I need to restock on and all this and that. So you have to be ready. You have to be ready to like put all this stuff in your cart and make the purchase. Because if you don't, if you say, oh, I'm going to wait a day, oh, I'll wait a week, all that stuff's gone. And then for them to like restock on all that, it's going to take another 4 to 6 months. It takes a long time. So you have to like be there in the right place at the right time in the opportunity. And you're checking these sites every day, right? Checking up on the updates. And this was a situation where, you know, NNL West was done, and then I checked the website, nothing that like I wanted, right? Every day they're getting stuff, but that day I was like, I don't see anything I want, because it's like other model stuff related that I don't carry in my store. And then boom, the next day, all the Aoshima stuff arrived, and I was like, whoa, what the hell? So everything I had on order was already secured. I don't have to worry about that. But now there was other items that they brought in that I needed to restock on. And I was like, dang, I got to jump on that. So I ended up adding more stuff, which made the order even bigger. And finally, I was like, all right, I think that's it. You know, I got to get this. And immediately, once it was all done, everything was finalized, they packaged everything, and they got it out. And man, when that stuff arrived, I was like, dude, this is like a lot of stuff. So once, you know, orders started coming in, I just started, you know, packaging everything and getting it out. And, you know, going back to what was said in that audio clip with the Ice Cube, it's like you're putting in work, you're packaging, you're doing all this stuff, and you know, it's somewhat of a sacrifice in the beginning, because you could be like looking at yourself. There's always been a time, you know, even I still remember like that first year, which was like really like, it was like up and down. Um, like there was times where it was busy, and then there was times where it was kind of chill. But I still remember those times where it was busy, where like feeling like, man, my business is thriving right now in these weeks, but in my personal account, it's kind of low, because I had to pay all these bills. I pay rent at the end of the month or whatever, right? And you go, dang, like I'm kind of maxed out on this end, but over here it's good. And yeah, it could seem tempting to be like, well, why don't I just like pay myself right away and I'll be fine. And that's kind of the mental thing that you go, no, you resist, and you go, no, because then it's gonna mess up my plan of what I got going on, you know. And that's the thing, like
I I'm going into my third year, and inventory is growing a lot. It's growing a lot, and now I'm getting to a point where I've been, even last year I was already looking at places, warehouse space, retail space, and all that. But now I'm looking at it even more. I'm checking stuff daily. It's almost like when you're trying to look for an apartment to rent or a place to rent, you're on it every day. The more you're on it and looking at it, you're going to get warmer to it, and then you're going to find the right spot. The next steps are going to be to start making those calls and setting up, like meets to go check up on places and see like what's up, get all the full details on things. Those are going to be the next key steps right there that I pretty much want to do. So this way, I'm I'm pretty sure it's going to happen this year. It's so funny because I always think about the first year. I go, oh yeah, like, by the end of the year I'll be in a place. Nah, hell no, that wasn't gonna happen. And even the second year, nah, that wasn't gonna happen. This time around, it seems a bit more promising just because of needing the actual space, and and at the same time, that support that you guys are giving me by getting stuff on the online store, it's helping too. So it starts to look more promising as to, like, I would be able to rent a place, to be able to operate from at this point, and I don't know. I'm gonna keep my eye out, and I gotta keep looking out and seeing what's up. But that's one of the goals right there. So Aoshima stuff, there's a lot of stuff I have on the site. If you guys are looking for that, it's there. At the same time, I do have a Zoom on order as well. It's going to be restocks and some new stuff, some of their new trans kits that I've ordered. That stuff's coming through. Also, there's some items from some restocks on Top Studio stuff coming through. And later this month, a restock is going to be more on like Gopher Racing, primers from Tamiya, a lot of that stuff. It's going to be coming in. All like the small little stuff that's in the store. Certain tools too are going to be replaced as well. Like, oh, not replaced, but restocked as well. Because there's right now there's certain things that I'm out of stock on, but I can't restock on them because they're out of stock where I want to get them to. So, like, for example, like disc bay, there's a lot of disc bay stuff I want to get in, but every day when I'm checking my distributor, they don't have anything coming in. They haven't had, so I don't know why that's taking long, but I do want to get some of that stuff in as well. But yeah, there's always new stuff. I got ordering in coming through, so just kind of keep an eye on that. But it's been fun, man. It's been exciting. All these new little things kind of coming into the store, and just seeing also like the progression and people's builds. It's nice to see some of the kits that I've obtained that customers have bought, what people do with them, the wheels, the tools, all those photo etch parts, all that stuff come to life. It's been really neat seeing all that right there. I get people tagging me, and I like sharing all that stuff. I'm like, dude, this is dope. I don't know if you guys have seen too, like the little circle scale writer stickers I have. I've been sticking those onto the box art on all the model kits on the bottom corners, and it's cool seeing that. I don't know. It's just, for me personally, when I see that, it just kind of, it almost looks like it came with the box, but I just like the size of the sticker and just putting them on all the boxes that go out. It's been pretty cool. But man, I'm already like here where I needed it to be. It almost feels like it didn't take too long. I just did that, except that little pit stop where I had to get gas. But other than that, everything was smooth. Right here, I'm gonna get today started, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode right here. Whether if you're driving or at home, kicking it, hanging out, and at the same time, I hope you guys are enjoying the podcasts the way they're being conducted through video. The next one, the upcoming one, it won't be this week, but the following week, we have Matt all the way in Northern California. Um, he has a lot of really cool Japanese model kits that he does, and I mean, we got to hang out at the NNL at the pizza party night too. I've already reached out to him, and we're going to be doing a video cast next week. So that won't be until, and it's going to be on a Friday night, because he works and stuff. So we won't be able to get to that till like a Friday night, and flyer and all that will come soon for that. But please stay tuned for that one right there that we got coming up with Matt. And I would say, let's just say in a couple weeks, will be taking place on that. But yeah, so pretty much what we do is we do the live video cast with the guests through Zoom. We broadcast it live through YouTube. There's a lot of interaction with the viewers in the chat room, and once the broadcast is done, the video is it pretty much stays on there, and it's already saved and it's live on YouTube, so people can view it there. And then by the end of the week, I publish the audio here on the podcast, and during the video sessions, the guests always show their builds, so you're able to see a lot of the subjects that we're talking about. And I hope if you guys enjoyed the audio and you guys want to see what's going on the description, there's the link for the videos too, so you guys can check that out right there and see the videos as to what we're talking about. Man, I don't know if it's the early morning or I don't know. I'm just getting tired. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on right now, because I almost felt bad, like I was abandoning the YouTube channel. I don't want to do that. I want to keep that active. So that's there. Um, the YouTube community that wants to see that, but stay tuned to all that stuff that's coming up. And for all things, I mean, hit us up on Instagram or on Twitter. I mean, wherever social media, we are there. Facebook. And if you need anything, check out scaleriders.com. Hopefully we have something you're looking for. And if there is something you're looking for and we don't have it, and you recommend it or whatever you're looking for, just hit us up, on DM or info@scaleriders.com. Cool. So, all right, guys, have a good one. I'll let you guys go. I'm already here. Peace out.